When you hear legend, what goes through your mind? Do you think does it make you feel old at all?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say how honored I am that I can be in Rob McBurnett's personal meeting room today. It's a great honor, but none greater than being inducted into the Legends Club this weekend. It does make me feel a little bit old, especially I was looking at some Brown stuff today, just kind of getting ready for the game this weekend. And I saw that James Hudson is 23 years old. And I'm like, he's 15 years younger than me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, in my mind, I don't feel like I'm that far removed from playing the game and from playing that position. But then when you start putting numbers on it, you start thinking back memories. And I was talking to my kids this week about going to the game, and they're all excited about coming to the Browns game. And I asked my oldest daughter, Logan, who's 9, what do you remember about going to Browns games? Because she went through a ton of games when she was little. And she said, Daddy, the only thing I remember about Browns games is sitting on the floor at the stadium and eating peanuts. Because she loved peanuts. And she would go with my wife or with some of our friends, and they'd always buy her a bag of peanuts and crack the peanut out of the shell and give it to her. So like, they don't even remember me wearing a Browns jersey. I think they have like no memories of me playing football, which it's a little sad, but it's also kind of cool now for me to be able to come back and be recognized, be on the field, for them to wear my jerseys and start to kind of make some of those memories now when the team's a little bit better.
Yeah. Gotcha. Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott. Next up is Dan Lobby.
Hey, Joe, congratulations. I guess going back to 2007, could you have imagined back then when you first suited up for the Browns that you'd be one day going into their Legends Club and, being up for the Hall of Fame this year?
Yeah, it was funny. I remember back to an interview that I did my rookie season, and I was not a real big talker back then, tried to keep to myself a little bit more, but I think maybe MK asked me about what some of my goals were, and I said, I'd like to become the starter and make the Pro Bowl and then make the Hall of Fame. And I didn't really think anything of it, but it kind of was a little bit of a newsworthy item for this rookie to say that he wanted to go to the Hall of Fame. And nobody ever like slapped my wrist about it, but I realized like, maybe I probably shouldn't put my goals out there for the common folk to absorb and criticize, because those are some pretty lofty goals for a guy that's never played a game in the NFL to say he wanted to be in the Hall of Fame. But I mean, that's where my mindset was. That's what I wanted to do in my career. And well, I'm not there yet. This is a really special step for me to be recognized by the organization and put my name amongst the greats, whoever wore a Cleveland Browns uniform, which when you look at all the Ring of Honors, the Legends Clubs throughout the NFL, I mean, the Browns is almost incomparable. Maybe one or two other of the founding franchises has as many players that are in the Hall of Fame or, are among the greatest players the game has ever seen. But it's hard to argue with the group of legends that the Browns have. And so putting my name in there is really special.
And I guess it's one thing to say it as a rookie, but has it started to hit you that like you're actually here now, like this stuff is actually starting to happen?
Yeah, it's gotten real because you do have to talk about it and people ask you questions about it. And it's fun to think about, it's fun to talk about coming back to First Energy Stadium and becoming forever one of the legends, getting the brown jacket and seeing old teammates and old friends. And I think the job that the Haslams have done recognizing the alumni and trying to make that a great network and a community of friends and a brotherhood is really cool, because when I first got there really wasn't a whole lot of recognition for alumni. There was no Browns Legends Club, or if there was, I didn't know about it. But I think it's really cool that we're doing a good job now, led by the Haslams, like bringing the names of old and connecting them with the guys that are recently retired, and then also guys that are on the field right now, to try to link all the generations of Browns players.
Thank you, Dan. Nate Ulrich, go ahead.
Hey, Joe, congratulations. Just going back to the idea that, you know, your kids don't really have those memories when you were playing. How old are they now? And just, you know, from a family standpoint, who's all going to be there? What's this weekend going to look like for your family?
Yeah, it's going to be really special for everybody. I'm raising my kids the right way. They're being raised as Browns fans. So we watch the games together on the weekends and they love it. They've got all their Brown stuff when it's school spirit day, and, you know, we live in Wisconsin. So of course everybody has Packers gear. There's a couple Vikings, maybe one or two Bears, and they're the only Browns fans wearing their Browns jerseys, but they do it proudly. So my kids are 9, 8, 6, and 4. So my baby, whose name is Reese, she just started preschool 3K this year. So everybody's out of the house in school, which is hard to believe, but they'll all be there this weekend. My parents will be there. My in-laws will be there. My sister and her husband and their kids, unfortunately, can't be here. They're about the only ones that won't be able to make it from my immediate family, because my sister just had twins like 2 weeks ago. So she's got 3, 1, and then 2 newborns. So she was a little bit busy. But other than her and her family, everybody from my family will be here. So it's definitely a special weekend for all of us.
Thank you, Nate. Dale Ryder, go ahead.
Hey, Joe, congratulations. It's an honor to talk to the first offensive lineman in NFL history. You know, going back to going through these steps, you know, throughout your career, we would talk to you and ask you about your accolades and whatnot. But as you go through these, this seems to be just like another step in that process, then the Hall of Fame, then having your name in the Ring of Honor. Your snap count is, you know, already up there. When you look back at your career, what is, I guess, your biggest reflection about your success?
To me, the thing that sticks out the most when I reflect back on my career is those 10,363 consecutive snaps. It's meaningful for me in a number of different ways. Obviously, it's special because it hadn't been done before, as far as we know, as far as I'm willing to look. And so I think it's kind of a historic, difficult record. And as an offensive lineman, we don't really get a lot of records except for bad ones, holdings, penalties, so on and so forth. But I think more than that, it kind of typifies what I tried to be as a teammate, which was I tried to be reliable. I tried to be consistent. I tried to be always there for the guys around me to help them do their jobs as well as they possibly could. And that was what drove me to play through pain and play through injuries and show up every Sunday. And so seeing that number, it kind of makes me reflect back on all of the faces and the names that I played with. And, you know, a lot of people like to play the fun, like, hey, can you name all the quarterbacks you started with game? And I can't. I'm not real good with names, and I'm certainly not good at remembering all the quarterbacks, but I feel very fortunate when I see that number to think back on how many great people I played with. Not a lot of success, but a lot of great people. And in that 11 seasons that I played, I did have a chance to play with some really, really good football players as well. And that's part of the fun of following the team now, is being able to see guys like David Njoku and Joel Bitonio, and guys that I was there either playing with or as I was rehabbing my elbow injury, got a chance to be around and see kind of their development from when they were rookies to now. Many of them, some of them all pros. So it's definitely been a fun journey, and I think that's probably the thing that sticks out the most in my mind.
And what's it mean to you to be welcomed back into the building, to be kind of a pseudo coach whenever you're in town, to, you know, be able to have an impact on the young guys like Jed Wills and Hudson and things like that?
Yeah, definitely try to keep my head down and not make too big of a deal out of it, because I feel so fortunate to be able to come back and share some wisdom from time to time and try to mentor and help in any way that I can. And I think it's probably a pretty unique opportunity. I'm not sure of many other people that are given such an amazing chance to like still be around the team, even though I don't really not coaching and I'm not playing, I'm not really doing anything, but I still get that inside access. So it feels really special, and I'm very blessed and thankful to Coach Stefanski and the staff that they have welcomed me, because I didn't play for any of those guys. Like, they weren't my coaches. There's no connection there. I know Andrew Barry from my time when he was, I think he was the director of pro personnel at the time, and we have had a relationship back then. But like, I would think most NFL teams would probably be like, "Hey, buzz off, loser! You're not here anymore. You're not part of the team. You know, you don't deserve to have that access or that treatment." So I definitely feel lucky, and I try to make sure that it's not a one-way street. That it's not just me and their free pancakes in the morning. That I'm hopefully giving something to the boys out there, and that they can use and they can take with them, that can help the team on Sundays.
Thank you, Daryl. Cam Justice has our next question.
So congratulations. You're going to have this ceremony inside First Energy Stadium in front of all these Browns fans. You've already started to get a ton of love for these accolades on social media when this news was shared. How does it feel to get so much love from the fans and have that love continue on even after your playing days and as you do these new things and take these new steps in your football path?
It feels amazing to get the love from the fans. It feels incredible. I oftentimes feel like I'm maybe not worthy of that type of love from a fan base. One, I played an unlovable position of offensive line. Like, nobody should really know who we are. And it's a little bit different in Cleveland. And I think that was one of the things that got me so excited when I got drafted in Cleveland, was because I knew about the fan base, how knowledgeable they were about the game, how much love they had for the down and dirty guys in the trenches along the offensive and defensive line, the blue collar nature of the city and the fan base that I think would embrace an offensive lineman. And it was true, and then some. I feel like I need to be grateful at every moment of every second of every day to the fan base for accepting me and remembering me, even though we went through some really, really hard times together. But as I say that out loud, maybe that's part of the reason I think that I connect with the fans still so much, is because we did go through some tough times together. And I think sometimes tough times breeds a unique bond. And I definitely feel that to the fans. And when you get a chance to come home and have moments like this weekend at First Energy Stadium and feel the love from the fans, I think it makes it even more special.
Thank you, Cam. Jeff Shadell, you have our next question.
Hey, Joe, congratulations again. You've been able to step away from the NFL, yet still stay connected. So what was that like for you, and how much do you miss being out there on Sundays?
So when I was playing, it was priorities in my life, football, and then everything else. And I knew in retirement, I wanted to flip that. I wanted to make sure that I was spending the time where it was most important to me, which was family, friends, and then football. But that didn't mean I didn't want football in my life. I mean, I think guys that struggle in retirement, they think, "Oh, I don't need football. It was just a game that I played." Well, then you reflect back and you're like, well, it's been my life since I was 12 years old. So to try to just say like, it's not a part of your life anymore, or to not use the wisdom and the intelligence that you've garnered through 20 some years of playing football and becoming the best and the brightest in the football world, it feels like you're sort of squandering it. And I think a lot of guys struggle like to just totally divorce themselves from the game. I mean, it's what we're experts as, like, just like you guys are all experts in media and writing, and like you spend your whole life becoming an expert at something that people want to hear from you. and then to just try to say that you're not interested in that, I think is really tough. And it's difficult to reinvent yourself as it is, but then you have this amazing like gift and talent if you played in pro football, that I think it would be a waste to not use it at all. So for me to find something like media, where I can still get my football fix, I can still use some of my brain that's been trained on the game of football for so long, still get that fulfillment, that satisfaction of using your brain for something. I think it really gives you a reason to wake up in the morning, and it's been awesome. I feel really lucky because there's just not that many seats in the NFL media world as it is. Certainly not enough to fill all the former players that want to be doing something like this. So I feel really lucky about that. And the great thing about doing media for me is that it fits really well with sort of my current life, where my kids and my family are my priority, but I still have enough time on the side to be able to dive into the NFL and dive into my work in football media. So I feel really lucky to have found that balance shortly after my career.